Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
5 ways that The Mandalorian Season 3 just set up for Boba Fett's return. That is what we are going to be talking about in this video. We're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. In this video, we're going to be taking a read from the Direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well as a read. Star Wars fans wondering where Boba Fett has been might want to keep their eyes on The Mandalorian Season 3. The last time Tamora Morrison's Boba Fett was on screen was for his solo Disney Plus outing, The Book of Boba Fett, though many have been left to wonder whether or not he will be present in the 3rd installment of The Mandalorian. And with that, new footage for the returning series of The Mandalorian Season 3 was recently released by Lucasfilm, a new trailer, an official trailer, and it gave fresh glimpses at Grogu kicking ass with the Force and a possible Sabine sighting, a trip to Coruscant, and so much more. However, out of all of that, there was a curious new scene that doesn't seem to have gotten enough attention, which continues a tradition set by The Mandalorian, as well as hints for Boba Fett's return in The Mandalorian Season 3. Continuing a trend from past previous seasons of The Mandalorian will officially return to Tatooine in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, as revealed by a brief scene in the most recent trailer. The sequence showed Mando returning to the iconic sandy planet, as evidenced by Din Djarin's N1 starfighter taking off from Pelimoto's workshop, located on Tatooine, and the last time viewers were there, however, another familiar character had taken up a powerful location leadership position, Boba Fett. So did the new teaser actually set up for the return of Tamora Morrison's armored anti-hero? Really, aside from wanting to maybe visit with Pelimoto to get some things fixed up on his ship, the only other reason to visit Tatooine would be to pay a visit to the daimyo himself, Boba Fett, as Boba Fett has been present in both previous seasons of The Mandalorian in some form. It would seem reasonable to assume that another return to Tatooine indicates that his reappearance is a likely one. Tamora Morrison has also been shown to be willing to cross over into shows briefly, as demonstrated by his small cameo in Obi-Wan Kenobi playing a clone trooper. The Book of Boba Fett also left a number of plot threads up in the air simply. As the show managed to tie up the loose ends of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, it may be possible that the 3rd season may pay Fett back by following up some of his solo plots. Here is a list of all of the most likely options for how the spin-off show story could continue in The Mandalorian Season 3. As I have previously stated in previous videos here on the channel regarding The Mandalorian Season 3, and also the likes of Boba Fett making his return to the Mandoverse in the 3rd season of The Mandalorian, having Boba Fett's return is simply something that just feels inevitable. The first one would be the most exciting option, would it be continuing Cad Bane's story. Yes, I know, he was stabbed by Boba Fett in the finale of the Book of Boba Fett, but I think there's a huge possibility that this character is still alive. Perhaps Lucasfilm could use this opportunity to reveal to the audiences how the Clone Wars bounty hunter isn't so dead after all. Maybe this time around he could even go up against Mando himself before hopefully getting away with his life, though that he will show up more in the future of the Mandoverse and within live action is something I think a lot of Star Wars fans secretly really do want. However, there is someone else who was previously presumed dead that is more likely to get some spotlight here for the 3rd season of The Mandalorian. An update on Cobb Vanth is something I think a big opportunity is something that the 3rd season of The Mandalorian is going to explore. The big post-credit scene for the Book of Boba Fett teased that Timothy Oliphant's Cobb Vanth isn't dead either. Instead of lying on the sandy streets, the sheriff has been taking a healing bath in a bacta-tank that belongs to Boba Fett. And while many felt like this moment wasn't quite deserving of an end post-credit season tease, it's still a major plot point that needs to be revisited, seeing as the character made his live-action debut in The Mandalorian from the books. Season 3 could easily set up Cobb Vanth's next move. However, will his future take him on more adventures with Din Djarin, or keep him on Tatooine with Boba Fett, or maybe start his own journey with a new lease on life? A new perspective, really, at that. The 3rd reason for why we have the potential to have Boba Fett appear in the 3rd season of The Mandalorian would be to have more prep for just the Book of Boba Fett overall. As it stands now, there hasn't really been any word on a 2nd season of the Book of Boba Fett, but clearly there is still plenty to be enthusiastic about out for the character of Boba Fett, but what stories could they really tell? Perhaps an appearance in The Mandalorian Season 3 could plant the seeds for Crimson Dawn's involvement in Tatooine's underworld. The criminal organization, as seen in Solo, A Star Wars Story, is one many have been waiting to see return to the small screen in this case. And as I have mentioned in previous videos here on the channel into those regards about Boba Fett in the third season of The Mandalorian, I heavily believe that there's going to be a single episode for The Mandalorian Season 3 that focuses purely just on Boba Fett and really setting things up for his next adventure, his next move in the Book of Boba Fett Season 2. And I think we'll see the same thing with Ahsoka and the Ghost Crew, Star Wars Rebels characters. Some thought that the Book of Boba Fett's first season was going to introduce them back into the fray alongside with Emilia Clarke's Kira. Sadly, those expectations were unsatisfied with setting anything up with Crimson Dawn. However, there is more potential to that, and with really seeing that in the future of the Mandoverse. Another reason to see Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 3 would be recruiting for Mandalore. Another possibility for Boba Fett's return could actually be for more than just one episode. Din Djarin made it clear in The Mandalorian's latest trailer that he intends to go to Mandalore. The throne of Sandari's palace can actually be seen in the previous footage as well, and it seems clear that the Mandalorian's homeworld will play a key role, of course, in this upcoming season. Perhaps Mando needs some help with his efforts on this planet, and Boba Fett could be one of the first people that he thinks of to kind of be a guide of with this overall planet. Although with all that said, Fett could just as easily deny Mando's invite and stay on Tatooine. After all, he does have water prices to negotiate with. This all being said, really reuniting with Boba Fett in the third season of The Mandalorian, as I had mentioned, is something that feels inevitable. Fans have been questioning when they'll see Boba Fett again, and The Mandalorian Season 3 seems like the obvious answer. It seems important to give audiences a hint of what the iconic character's future will be, so hopefully Lucasfilm is looking to address that sooner rather than later. My only, quandary with this, my only, question about this, is that there's so many open possibilities to include the Boba Fett, of course, in the third season of The Mandalorian. Why wouldn't they just simply show him in the trailer footage? This is something that doesn't necessarily make sense to me all that much as a Star Wars fan. Of course, it's a cool cameo, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, well, why wouldn't he appear in the third season of The Mandalorian? Especially after going all of these different reasons to see Boba Fett in the third season of The Mandalorian. Funny enough, however, as the article closes out, there is another big character whose spin-off could also take up some real estate in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, that there being Ahsoka. As I had mentioned, based on the rumors, the upcoming series is going to be an incredibly important one to the Star Wars franchise, and was even first teased back in Rosario Dawson's debut in the Jedi episode for The Mandalorian Season 3. And in a perfect world, both Boba Fett and Ahsoka will get some time to shine in The Mandalorian's upcoming season. Sadly, however, this isn't a perfect world, but maybe Lucasfilm is ready to surprise us. Now from there, that is where the article concludes, and as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have this article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. What most reasons make sense to you to have Boba Fett appear in The Mandalorian Season 3, and why would you want to see him in the third season of The Mandalorian? I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Of course, this has been an official Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.